Hey everyone, Johnny Skywatcher here, coming at you. I totally messed that up. Whatever. Anyway, if you don't know who I am, I like doing mostly live streams talking about movies, a lot of comic book movies today, but I like talking about movies, TV, superhero stuff, that sort of stuff. Anyway, man, it's been a while since I've done a live stream, and I feel very distracted right now and unprepared. But let's go for it. And the reason I do live streams rather than just recording it is because if I set myself to just record a video and upload it to YouTube, it won't happen. To be honest, I lose my motivation and it just doesn't happen. But when I set a time for a live stream, I start on time, even if I kind of mess it up like I did just now. Anyway, I think that's all you really need for an introduction, right? So let's get into it. Let's get into the episode. Let's roll that intro. If I can do it. Nope. Wrong button. So the first thing I wanted to talk about today, I did a video, a live stream last week on Monday, and I talked about how I didn't think Black Panther would be filming anytime soon. That I thought they would be pushing it back. Well, it turns out that I was not correct in the least. So if I can cut to it. Okay, there we go. So this came out on Friday, right? I want to say Friday. From Hollywood Reporter, Black Panther is set to start shooting in July of next year. Which, wow, I certainly was not expecting that. I think, and I don't think we've received any like official word on this, but nobody's debunked it. Which I think if this was wildly inaccurate, it would have been debunked by now. So this is coming from the Hollywood Reporter, and according to their sources, they're hearing that they are getting ready to start shooting. He says, multiple sources tell the Hollywood Reporter that Marvel is now readying Black Panther 2 for a shoot that will start in Atlanta in July and last for upwards of 6 months. And then they also had some other details, such as this person, who I have no idea how to say this name, star of Netflix, is going to join the cast, and not much other information than that. You know, I think they also mentioned it. They've heard that the role of the sister of T'Challa, what is her name? Suddenly I can't think of it at all. Jeez. I hate these articles. It's that just like they just fill it up with all this other random information just so they have enough to call it an article, when really they only have like 3 pieces of information. Like this has the fact that Black Panther is going to start filming. This other person, Shuri. Okay, there it is. I went too far. I went down into all the other stuff that's not relevant to this actual story. Saying that Wright's character Shuri may take on a more prominent role, and more importantly, is not going to be the main role like some people were speculating. So here's what I think this tells us. This tells us that there isn't going to be a huge rewrite or reconfiguring of a Black Panther sequel, and that most likely they are going to just recast. That is, if this is true. You know, this could always be inaccurate, but I don't think I've seen anyone come out against this and just debunk it, which I think they would. So I'm going to assume this is probably most likely accurate. And I think it makes sense. You know, like I said in my previous video, I think they should just recast the role and move forward. You know, I don't know if this would be the best thing for that character, for that new actor to appear as the character in. I was thinking maybe introducing the new recast actor in Doctor Strange or something like that, the Multiverse of Madness, but we'll see. I think if they are recasting, we probably aren't going to hear about it until until they start shooting, really. You know, I think you know, they're not going to make any big announcements soon, and I think this definitely goes against the idea of reconfiguring the movie to make Shuri the new Black Panther. You know, it's not out of the possibility that they recast the character and Shuri does end up becoming the new Black Panther by the end of the film, but I think it definitely means we're not going to get a Shuri Black Panther movie instead of a Black Panther 2. This definitely sounds like we are getting a Black Panther 2 with a new T'Challa, a new actor as T'Challa, and you know, I think that's probably the best way to sort of honor the legacy of not just the character but of Chadwick Boseman, is to just move forward. I'm sure they'll have some sort of special opening and like a dedication to Chadwick Boseman. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all I have to say about that. What do you think about Marvel Studios moving forward with filming Black Panther next year? Does that sound like a good idea to you, or do you think they're moving too fast? I'm kind of surprised that even if they're just recasting the character, that they wouldn't have some change in the script or try to reconfigure it. But hopefully it all works out for the best, and hopefully they sort of find the right person to recast the character and to do honor to Chadwick Boseman's legacy. Anyway, let me know what you thought in the comments below, and let's move on to the next topic, which this is another bit of news from last week. Most of the news I'm covering are going to be from last week because I didn't really see anything too much today, and it has been a week since I did my last video, so I feel like I have free reign. Maybe that's one thing I'll try to do, is do maybe a video a week. I don't know, we'll see. Anyway, Wonder Woman, this was big news last week, I think on Wednesday. Wonder Woman 1984 is going to theaters on Christmas Day. It's not moving that day, but at the same time, it's going to HBO Max for a month. So it's a little complicated. They're not just going straight to HBO Max. So I think this was initially announced from Patty Jenkins' Twitter, or she wrote this at the same time, and this is what she had to say. And she said, "It's time. We've all waited a long time for this one to come. I can't tell you how excited I am for all of you to see this movie. It wasn't an easy decision, and we never thought we'd have to hold on to the release for such a long time, but COVID rocked all of our worlds. We feel the movie has never been so relevant, and we hope that'll bring some joy, hope, and love to your hearts. Wonder Woman 1984 is a special one for me, and I can only hope it'll be as special to you too. We've put our hearts and souls into it. So you can watch it in theaters. They're doing an amazing job keeping it safe, and you can watch it on HBO Max from your homes. Sending you my love. Please keep safe and wear a mask. Happy holidays to all of us. Let the light shine in." So the basic details of this is Wonder Woman is being released internationally on December 16th, which is, I believe, a week before 25th. I'm looking at the wrong month. Yes, a little over a week before. It's going to be the Wednesday, the week before. So it's going to be released internationally on the 16th, and then it's in the markets that are open, at least. I don't know which markets that are, besides from like China. I'm assuming most of the European markets, or most of them, are going to be somewhat closed down. I mean, they're kind of going back into lockdowns in a lot of those countries. Who knows? Anyway, it's coming out in the US in theaters on December 25th, at least in the places that have theaters. New York City and LA are two big markets that do not have theater open. So it is not open in my area at all, unless I wanted to go all the way to New Jersey to watch it, which I don't think I'll be doing. And it is going to be coming out on HBO Max on the same day. And I guess I don't need to read from the article. The thing about the way it's coming out on HBO Max that's interesting is it's coming out on HBO Max free of charge. You don't have to pay extra other than your HBO Max subscription, but it's only coming out on HBO Max for a month. And then I'm assuming it's coming out on other VOD platforms. I don't know if it's like exactly a month later or at some point in the future, and then eventually it'll come back to HBO Max. And from what I've read, that the reason behind that, not just keeping on HBO Max, has to do with the fact that they made these deals to put on like video on demand. Those deals were made months ago probably, and those aren't like kind of easy deals they can just undo. So I think certain times with these movies, when it seems like weird strategies going on with releasing it, it has to do with like they have deals that were sort of set in place beforehand that they can't just easily undo. So yeah, it's a little crazy. I mean, I think that you had the same thing with Mulan coming to Disney Plus, and then it was on premium Disney Plus where you had to pay extra for it for 2 months, I want to say, or something like that. And then I think, if I might be wrong, but I think right now it's not on Disney Plus proper, but you can't get it. I don't think you can. I might be wrong on that. I'd have to double check on that. But yeah, so this is not a great thing for theaters. You know, I think a lot of people are probably already hesitant in going to the theaters, not just because of the pandemic, but economically as well. You know, a lot of people, including myself, are still out of work, or, you know, they're not doing as well as they were beforehand, and maybe, you know, they don't. If you already have HBO Max, why are you willing to pay to go to the theaters to see it, or are you just going to watch it on HBO Max? Now, I don't have HBO Max, but it is tempting to get just a month of HBO Max, watch Wonder Woman, whatever you want to watch, for a month, and then cancel. And that's one of the problems that I think these subscription services are having right now, and will be having in the future, is they don't lock people into agreements, which on the consumer side is good, because it lets you could get a month of HBO Max, watch all the content that you're going to watch from like the last year, and then cancel, and then just wait a year and sign up for another month. You could in a sense go from one streaming app to another for like 1 month each, and you know, you're not going to be always up to date, but really, how many shows are there that each streaming service is coming out with that you have to see when it comes out? I mean, to me, really, I find myself, you'll sign up for a trial or a month of one streaming service, and there's only so much to watch, and then like you're like, this is it. Okay, I don't need to have this anymore. You know, I mean, you can always find stuff, I think, to a certain extent. I've been doing a trial on Amazon Prime Video, and there's still a lot of stuff I could watch, but enough to actually pay for it, not really. Which is why I'll be canceling that free trial. But so the question, I think, when it comes to Wonder Woman 1984 on HBO Max is, how many subscriptions is it going to get HBO Max of people that are actually going to stay, you know, past January 25th? I don't know. You know, I think it's definitely, it'll definitely help the amount of people who see the movie. I think more people are going to end up seeing the movie than even if it just came out in theaters pre-pandemic, because there are a lot of people who are going to see it on HBO Max that just wouldn't have gone to the theater anyway. You know, there's more reasons than just the pandemic, which I think is what everyone's focusing on as the reason to not go to the theaters. But movie theaters are expensive in a lot of areas, especially if you live in LA or New York City. Going to the movies is expensive, and I like going to the movie theaters, or I mean, at this point, it's coming in March. It's coming up on a year since I've been to a movie theater, but it's definitely not something you do with every movie. And I think, you know, this is one of the movies that normally I want to see in movie theaters. But the question is, with it being available on streaming, even if movie theaters were open in New York City, is it worth it? Or is it fine watching it on streaming? I feel like ultimately I still prefer the movie theater experience. It's like a full on experience being in a movie theater. You know, the sound is way better, the screen is way bigger. and you get out of the house and that sort of thing. So those are all reasons that, I support going to movie theaters. And I think you have a lot of people with this news, on top of everything else that's been going on this year, who are afraid that the movie theater experience is going to disappear. And I think it's not necessarily going to disappear. I think it's going to change. Movie theaters are still a big part of American life, but they are decreasing in their way. People used to go to live theater more, but they don't. But live theater didn't disappear. It's just more niche, and I think I've seen a lot of people sort of predicting that's what's going to happen. Right? Movie theaters are going to become more niche. It's something some people do, but not everyone does it. So I think what you could see is that is definitely one path that movie theaters could go, meaning it's going to be more expensive to see a show. The number of shows you can see are more limited, and yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that is a sustainable model for it. And it's certainly the biggest thing I think you're going to see is you're not going to see as many movie theaters, because a lot of smaller movie theaters are going to close, and a lot of small towns aren't going to have movie theaters anymore. It didn't always used to be this way. The small towns didn't always have a movie theater. I grew up in a small town. It still doesn't have a movie theater, and it's never, at this rate, ever going to get a movie theater, I think. And even the sort of bigger nearby town, I don't think, maybe they might not keep their movie theaters. They definitely won't have multiple movie theaters. What do you think about Wonder Woman 1984 opening up in Christmas Day in theaters and on HBO Max? Let me know in the comments below, and I think we'll move on to my last sort of two connected things. It's just more things I'm kind of reacting to. So these two things, they're both related to DC, and I'm trying to say unless, but I feel like I'm not doing a great job this episode. But we'll just let that slide, won't we? So this first thing, if I can enunciate correctly, is related to Batwoman Season 2, which, first of all, I've not watched Season 1 of Batwoman. It looked bad. I watched some of the first episode, and even for a CW show, it was just too much for me. No. It looked terrible. All the previews I saw of the other episodes, which I watched some people even like reviewing it just in interest to see how bad it was, and it sounds pretty bad. I'm not going to say, that it is bad because I haven't seen it, but it looks pretty bad. And Season 2, it doesn't look any better. So they released a very short teaser. So we got a first look at the new actress, which, by the way, if you haven't heard, Ruby Rose, who was the star of Batwoman Season 1 as Kate Kane, the comic book character who is Batwoman, quit. And instead of recasting her or something like that, they decided to make a whole new character who is not based on any comic book character, who is going to be the new Batwoman, who, of course, like the Kate Kane character, is also a lesbian, because that's what Batwoman is now. So CW released this, I think it's CW, yes, it's on YouTube, this new teaser, which I have to say, it does not look good. So super short, but we got our first look of terrible. You can't even see much of this, but of the suit. And it's the whole wig thing. I still think it looks bad. And this is, I'm assuming, from the first episode where she's going to be wearing the old Kate Kane costume and just putting it on. Which brings up the question, how does she find this? Who knows? I'm sure it's going to be some part of some stupid mystery that the show drags on for the whole season long, and it's just dumb. And like I've said in previous live streams, I think the new look for the character looks dumb. I don't necessarily think it's impossible for this show to be good. I just look at what they're showing and it doesn't look good. And the other thing I wanted to cover was, actually it came out today, I think, was a new look at Starfire in Titans Season 3. So Titans is another show I didn't watch. I watched the first 2 episodes, I think. I want to say first 2 episodes. It's not a show for me. I didn't like the whole darker take on the Titans. I'm not a huge DC fan or huge Teen Titans fan, but I did watch Young Justice, so I am somewhat familiar with some of the characters. And yeah, this I didn't like it, and I definitely did not like the look of Starfire. And it's not because I'm just some racist guy being racist, which I think was a lot of the accusations from some people. It's the fact that she doesn't look anything like the character, and on top of that, I just didn't like the look of her character. Well, it appears in Season 3, they're finally giving her a costume, which makes her look somewhat closer to Starfire. And this is the first reveal of the Starfire costume, which is kind of crazy. It took them to Season 3 to get her to a costume that actually looks like Starfire. I mean, I still am not loving... I'm still not in love with the look. It still just looks like some person wearing Starfire's a Starfire inspired clothing rather than Starfire. And if you scroll, they do have some concept art which actually looks better to me, because you notice with the hair and the eyes and even the skin color, they tried more to make her look like Starfire than the actual result. And that's because in the comic books, Starfire isn't a normal human color because she's an alien. But I guess if you actually changed that with the actress or did something like that, people would accuse you of being racist, which is sort of crazy to me. So yeah, I mean, this looks better, but not great to me. And like I said, I'm not a purist. It's not like I really care that much about this show. I don't like this look as like just as a general rule. I mean, even the costume itself, it doesn't look that great. It looks like a TV show. This looks like the same level of CW show, which I think if the show was telling and I haven't seen most of Season 1 or Season 2 at all, so I don't know exactly how the show has gone. From what I've read about it and heard about it, it doesn't seem like it's a show I really like that much. But yeah, it's not terrible, but it's not great either. I think the concept art honestly looks better. The hair definitely looks better, and more like this. I mean, even if this looks more like just some sort of cosplay attempt, it looks more like some approximation of the character Starfire from what I've seen in pictures. And I have seen her in an animated movie. I've seen a couple of the Teen Titans animated movies where Starfire appears. So I'm somewhat familiar with the character. And I have seen some of the old Teen Titans cartoon, as well as the silly one, or whatever it's called, New Teen Titans, or I can't remember the name. Anyway, I think, yeah, I'm not impressed by this. That's just my opinion. I think she looks goofy. It looks the outfit, it looks better though. I mean, at least in that outfit, if you say this character is Starfire, it's a little bit like Smallville in the idea that it's just a normal looking person wearing an outfit that's somewhat comic book inspired, rather than in season 1 the look she had with like the big coat and stuff. She didn't look like she didn't even look like she was inspired by the comic book characters. You know, she had the weird looking hair. I don't know. I just was not a huge fan of it, and I'm not a huge fan of this either. Anyway, I need to stop saying anyway so much. It's been really bad this episode. I noticed it like the 50th time I said it, and it was like, you know what, I need to try and stop saying it so much. Moving on. What do you guys think? Is this Starfire look good to you, or have you been watching Titans? Also, tell me in the comments, what do you think about Batwoman? Does that teaser interest you at all? It doesnn't interest me. It still looks pretty bad. I fully expect the season 2 of Batwoman to be pretty darn terrible, and you know what? It might get renewed for season 3 anyway, even if it's just terrible ratings. I wouldn't be surprised if it gets renewed for season 3 and then canceled. But we'll just have to see. Also, one of the other reasons why to expect Batwoman season to get a renewal for season 3 is the fact that I believe it is the first of those CW shows to go straight to HBO Max. Because I don't know about if it expires or not, but I know that the other CW shows, including Arrow, Flash, Supergirl, are on Netflix. And I'm sure this is partly influencing the decision. I'm assuming at some point that contract will expire and they'll be able to put them on HBO Max, or maybe they're able to put them on HBO Max now. I don't know, but it's certainly not exclusive. So I wouldn't be surprised if one of the main reasons Batwoman, regardless of its ratings, gets renewed is the fact that it's an HBO Max exclusive. Meaning, on streaming platforms, it goes to HBO Max instead of Netflix, which had been the case for the previous CW shows. Just a thought. Anyway, I think that's going to be it for me today. In case you don't know, the way I usually do these shows, or have been doing them the last couple times, is I'm probably going to delist this episode after a while and chop it up maybe into 1 or 2 segments that I find worthy enough and upload those as full episodes. If you like what you see, do that YouTube thing. Like, comment, and subscribe. I need all the help I can get to, get eyeballs on my videos, because YouTube doesn't seem to like me at all. I think the last video I uploaded, I got a whole 9 views, so I don't think I'm breaking out as a YouTube star anytime soon. But I don't know. Yeah, I think that's going to be it for me today. I hope you have a good day, and I will see you in the next live stream I do. Bye.